Well, the challenge is simple. I'll be playing Pokemon Platinum, but I can't use stab moves, and that includes H-Gems used outside of battle. Got it? Let's get this shit started. And if it wasn't obvious from the thumbnail, my starter's gonna be Chimchar. Probably because, well, he has the best coverage out of all the starters, but not for a long time. He's gonna be spamming Scratch for a while. It's time for the first Berry fight. It makes you do something I've never done before. I'd go for Taunt to win this fight, because for some reason, Berry's AI loves spamming Growl. So first up Start, I'll go for Taunt, stopping the Growl. Hits me with a few quick attacks, take it out in 2 scratches. Out comes his Piplup. I go for Taunt, stopping another Growl. Then after a couple scratches, I take out his Piplup and hits me with Pound. But the fact that I go for Taunt strategies in the very first fight of this run, I hope that's not an omen for something. There's not a snowball's chance in hell I'm beating Rourke with only Extinguish the Chimchar. So I caught myself a Bidoof, a Psyduck, and a Kricketuk, who I immediately evolved into Kricketune and taught them all Rock Smash. Now I probably got a shot at Rourke. Speaking of which, time for the gym battle with Rourke. First up is Geodude. I with useful Kricketuk. I go for a Rock Smash, sets up a Stealth Rock. Go for another Rock Smash, he does alright damage with Rock Throw. Another Rock Smash takes out his Geodude. Out comes his Onix. Same thing. I go for a Rock Smash, hit me with a Rock Throw. No, go for another Rock Smash, hit me with a Rock Throw. And one final Rock Smash takes it out, leaving a Kricketuk at 1 HP. Last up's Kratos. I go for Rock Smash, do 1 under a half, hits me with a Headbutt. I then send in Advil to Psyduck. Hits for Headbutt, leaving me at 18 up. I go for Rock Smash, then he hits with a Potion. I go for another Rock Smash, then he Headbutts, leaving at Psyduck at 3 HP, and I finish it with one final Rock Smash. You know, you would've taken out Advil there if you didn't heal. Kinda played yourself there, Rourke. You know, for as cluttered as that was, spamming Rock Smash, at least it had a strategy for Rourke. I have no idea how I'm tackling Gardenia, but you know what? That's a problem for future me. I don't have to worry about that right now. And hey, why worry about that when Extinguish is evolving, who I completely ignored up to this point because he would have been worthless for Rourke. And now I have a firefighting monkey who can't use fire or fighting type moves. And yes, it's extremely painful to say no to Mach Punch here because it's such a great move, but nope, the challenge will let me use it. Woe is me. But hey, at least Special the Bidoof evolve into a Barrel, which I don't know if it's really an upgrade in this challenge case. And now a normal water type who can't use normal or water type moves. And on top of those 2 evolutions, I'm catching myself a Buizel, who is another water type. I am not looking forward to that Gardenia fight coming up. I'm naming you one, because I need you for one thing in particular. But before that can happen, we need to face Mars Bars, the Team Galactic Executive. First up's her Zubat, and like always, her Zubat's nothing. 2 returns from Extinguish, take it out. Up next is the real threat, Per Ugly. After a Fake Out and a Scratch doing a lot of damage, hit with 1 layer, but then Extinguish goes down to another Scratch. But now I can send in Special, take out a couple Rock Smash, who surprisingly still very useful this early on. Well, that's done. Now it's time for Gardenia. Yay. I might as well peel off this Band-Aid as fast as possible. Time to face Gardenia. She's with Turtwig with useful, and here's my strategy. I put a Sleep with Sing, but I missed Reflect. Good start. Next thing hits up, I go for Focus Energy. And yes, this is my strategy. Fishing with crits with Focus Energy and Cut of all moves. So, you know, I'm on the Turtwig with cuts. Get some crits here, leave it to Red. She wakes up, heals us with a Reflect. But I put it back to sleep with her with Sing, and take it out a couple more cuts, taking minimal damage. Out comes a Cherim. I accidentally go for a Rock Smash. I get a crit, but no defense drop. Hits me with Grass Knot. Next turn, hits me with Magic Leaf. I miss a Sing. After another Magic Leaf takes a hit, I hit Sing. I put to sleep, so we're on with cuts. And I bring it to Red. She wakes up, heals, it goes to a Safeguard. That bitch. Useful goes down, it's an Extinguish Fisher with a return. And last up is her Roserade. She goes for Magical Leaves, I go for returns. I eventually take it out to Roserade, eats a Citrus Berry, and Extinguish is left on Red health from all the Magical Leaves. I gotta be honest. That went by a lot easier than I thought it would, and that was also my first attempt, funny enough, so yeah, she wasn't that bad. I mean, granted, if Extinguish went down, I would have lost, because Roserade probably would have one-shot the rest of my Pokemon, but you know what, that didn't happen, we got the badge. Potentially the hardest fight is now behind us. Up next is the executive fight with Jupiter, a fight I forgot about. First up is a Zubat lead with Special. I set up a rollout chain, hits me with Giga Drain, but after 3 rollouts, the Zubat goes down. Out comes a Skunk Tank, goes for Smoke Screen, but the 4th rollout hits, and then Quick Claw pops and rollout finishes the Skunk Tank. Well, that was easy. And now, one's evolving. Perfect. He's reached his form where he's gonna be useful for his one thing in this video. And this is the one thing I needed Floatzel for. It learns Crunch upon evolution with the Dread Plate I picked up earlier. I can just sweep entire team. Duskull gets one-shot. Because Magic sees a range, it takes it, but Magic Leap only does half, another Crunch takes it out. And last up's Haunter and Crunch one-shots it. Well, I hope you learned something new. Yeah, Floatzel's the perfect counter for Fantina, and hey, even if you're doing a level cap thing, it evolves at level 26, that's when it learns Crunch. You don't even need the Dread Plate, you're probably still one-shot or Duskull and her Haunter. Miss Magus will still get two-shot. I love easy gym battles. And now Barry wants to fight again. First up to Staravia. I leave with 1 to get down 2 crunches while he tries to set up some double teams. Next up to Roselia. I go for a crunch, he goes with Stun Spore. And instead of going for a quick attack to take it out, I had a brain fart and I just kept spamming crunch on him. I mean, I eventually do take out Roselia, but I'm at low health on 1 now from Mega Drains. Out goes for Plup, he goes for Bubble Beam, and 1 actually survives. He gets off a crunch and a quick attack before going down. damn one. I guess you're used for more than one thing after all. I send out Extinguish, go for a turn, and I don't take it out. And then a Torrent boosted Bubble Beam murders Extinguish. Not my smartest move there. I send in Special, finish Purple up with a Rock Smash, and last up is Ponytail. I take it out with a couple of rollouts. Defeating Barry here actually marks the perfect time to get more Pokemon for the team finally. First up is this Ralts. I catch and name him Duel, who evolves to Kirlia, then skip over to Pastoria Seed to grab the Donphan to evolve it into a Gallade. And while I'm here, I go to the move tier outside of Pastoria, use the shards I got from the underground mines that teach Duel and Extinguish, Ice Punch and Thunder Punch respectively. And no, this won't be the last time I'll be using him. Also called Licky Tongue, I named Nolik, which I find hilarious. I went gambling for a really long time. That's so I can get the Ice Beam and Psychic TM for Advil and get the Flamethrower Thermal TM for Nolik. After all that shit is done and over with, time for the next gym leader, which is the main lane fight. First up is Meditite, lead move 1. A name that is really biting me in the ass here because this is the third fight I need 1 for. She goes for Fake Out, I go for Crunch. She goes for Rock Tomb, I finish my time with another Crunch. Out comes her Ace Lucario. She goes for a Force Palm, I go for Crunch, getting a defense drop on it, another Force Palm takes out 1. I then send in Advil. She goes for Drain Punch, I connect with a Screech. Advil fates to the next Drain Punch, and then I send in Useful. She goes for Metal Claw, I go for Rock Smash, and get a crit and one-shot Lucario. A fucking Cricketune just one-shot Lucario. There's something you thought you would never see, huh? And last up's her Macho. She takes out Cricketune with a Rock Tomb. I send an Extinguish, finish it with a few Aerial Aces. I am actually lost for words here. A fucking Cricketune one-shot Lucario. Like, I know it was at -3 and it was a crit, but still, a Cricketune one-shot a Lucario. You know what's sad? It's not gonna save her from being replaced either. Next up is another fight with Barry. First up's a Staravia with Advil. He goes for Double Team, go for Ice Beam, and I barely missed on the one-shot. Because for some reason, Psychic evolves at level 35 with stats like this. Anyway, he goes for Endeavor, another Ice Beam finishes it off. Next up is Roselia. I go for Psychic, doing good damage, but magically finishes off Advil. And then I send in Duel. I go for Swords, making him not so Duel. Ice Punch finishes the Roselia. Leaf Blade one-shots his Pump, and a Night Slash one-shots his Ponyta. And now Advil is evolving. And here's where I make my apology. Psyduck does not evolve level 35. It's 33. I know, big difference. The guy made a decision and still deserves to be lobotomized, though. And you know who else evolves at level 33? Nolik, the Licky Tongue. And just like that, God's greatest abomination is here. And Big Monkey is here. And now we're facing the next gym leader, Crasher Wake. First up is Gyarados. I lead with Nolik, he goes for Waterfall. I go for Thunderbolt, get a crit, and I one-shot that thing. I think I killed it, honestly. Up next is his Floatzel. He goes for Crunch, I go for Thunderbolt. Then he goes for Brian, Thunderbolt, finish off his Floatzel. And last up is Quagsire. Hearts up to Extinguish, finishing in 1 Grass Knot. 5th badge acquired, and up next is a weirdly shoehorned in Cyrus fight. And I swept him in the fight with Advil of all Pokemon. He's with Sneeze, I lead with Advil, obviously. I go for Rock Smash, hit a crit, and one-shot that thing. Out comes Golbat. I go for Psychic, barely missed a KO, but he misses a Supersonic, so he heals 2 more Psychics, take it out. And last up is his Burkrow. Ice Beam one-shots it. Okay, Cyrus, I see your point. I don't want to destroy the world too if I got swept by a Golduck of all Pokemon. Now, know what you're wondering. Who's gonna be our Surf user? Nolik. And now we're fighting Barry again, and Advil fucking takes his ass to the cleaner. Staraptor gets one-shot by an Ice Beam. Roser gets one-shot by a Psychic. Rapidash gets 2-shot by Psychic. Same goes for Heracross, 2-shot by Psychic. And lots of Empoleon. And Advil almost takes out a combination of Psychic and Rock Smash. It's so close, but he falls at the last minute. Then I send an Extinguish Mission with a Thunder Punch. I never thought I would ever be sweeping with a Golduck of all Pokemon, but you know what? I'm all here for it. When all that Barry fight's done, let's get our last 2 team members, shall we? First up is Togepi I got from Cynthia. Name him Bacon for some reason. In order to raise his friendship, I gave Bacon a shit ton of drugs. Like, a lot of drugs. Then when we were carrying later, we get a Togetic. Then I picked up a Shiny Stone, now I got a Togekiss. Next up, I caught a Rhyhorn. No, wait, I caught 2 Rhyhorns. Actually, I caught 3. Wrong again, it was 4. Wait, that makes 5. Yeah, I caught 5 Rhyhorns because they kept having Lightning Rod, but I wanted Rhyhorn's other ability. Also, all of them were female too. Not intentional, they're just the first 5 I saw. I named her Liquid. Anyway, Rhyhorn soon evolves into Rhydon. Then, with this Protector I picked up, I can evolve her into Rhyperior. Now let's get to the next gym. And the next gym was a complete sweep with Orthopedic from Bacon, because the game uses free choice specs. You expect me not to use it? I can't say I'm surprised with this outcome, because Byron's never really challenging in these runs, so you don't have access to a fire or fighting type move, but you almost always do. So yeah, thanks for the easiest badge in the game. Now, Team Galactic bullshit, I think. Drops the bombs. Now what? We wait 3 days. So after bombing a fucking lake, Saturn wants to fight me. Ironically enough, Bacon bombs him back. So this bomb was incendiary. Choice specs boosted Fire Blast here through his entire team. Now, let's see if the other executive proved me a fight. And she cannot. Liquid makes her debut in this video. First up, Ice Punch one-shots her Golbat. Out comes Bronzor. Fire Punch one-shots. Last up is that Fat Cat. A Hammer Arm one-shots it. Wow, these are all very easy executive fights. I wonder how Barry's doing.
Your life is nothing. You serve zero purpose. You should kill yourself now.
I'm sure Barry will be fine. It's time to fight the next gym leader, Candace. First up is her Sneasel, and Liquid one-shots it with the Fire Punch. Out comes her Abomasnow. She goes for a Wood Hammer, does a shit ton of damage. With the Solid Rock, I take it, and then I can one-shot it with the Fire Punch. Out comes her Piloswine. She finishes Liquid off with an Earthquake, and I send in Bacon, and I one-shot it back with a Fire Blast. And last up is her Ace Frost. So she goes for a Double Team, and thankfully, I hit through it with the Fire Blast, and I one-shot it. Choice specs, y'all. They're OP, and the game gives it to you for free. And just like that, Liquid and Bacon are becoming the most useful members of the team, even though they just got added on. And if I sound a little weird to y'all, by the way, well, more well than normal, I just got over being sick, which is why this video is also late. Like, yeah, I would have had this video done like 2 weeks ago if I didn't get sick, but whatever. The TM, and now, time to finish off that Team Galactic bullshit. And the first part of that is defeating Cyrus here again, and Liquid sweeps her. Yeah, Liquid's sweep is continuing because Fire Punch can one-shot the Sneasel, and then Crobat and Honchkrow, those are both flying types. I have Ice Punch, they both get two-shot. And now that he's defeated, it's time to do the Galactic Double on top of the mountain, then Cyrus again. How climactic. And now it's time for the dreaded double against these exits with Barry, and it went pretty damn well. So here's what I did. I hard focused on one of them while the other one could barely do anything, so all I had was the Bronzor. So here's what I did. I had Bacon Fire Blast with the Bronzor on the right that sits the light screen before he could, and I one-shot. Out was Ugly. After taking a slash, Bacon one-shots it with an Aura Sphere. That was actually a surprise. I did not expect that. Good job, Bacon. Then Golbat comes out to get a couple of Fire Blasts. So now Mars Bros is out of the fight. Bacon is heavily injured from Rock Slides from the Bronzor and some Poison Fangs from the Golbat. I used my last Fire Blast to take out the last Bronzor, and out comes Skuntank. I get off one Aura Sphere doing decent damage, but Bacon finally goes down to a Poison Jab. Rest well, Bacon. You earned that. I then send in Extinguish. I go for Earthquake, barely not taking out the Skuntank and killing Barry's Munchlax. Sorry, Barry. Then Barry says I'll start after. I finish Skuntank off another Earthquake. And last up is Jupiter's Golbat. A combination of Thunder Punch from Extinguish and a takedown from Barry finishes it off. And now it's time to defeat Cyrus once and for all. And here we are. The final showdown with Cyrus. He leads with Houndoom. I lead with Extinguish, and I get a quick knockout with an Earthquake. Out comes his Gyarados. I swapped a Note to get rid of Intimidate, and kind of as a sack-off, honestly. Hits me with the Waterfall while I swap. He goes for Waterfall again, and I go for Thunderbolt. It doesn't one-shot, no falls to an Earthquake, but it does enough damage to send Extinguish back out and finish it with a Thunder Punch. Next up is Crobat. He goes for Confuse Ray. I break through, hit him with the Thunder Punch, doing about half. He then goes for Air Slash, just heavy damage to Extinguish, and then once again, Extinguish breaks through, Confuse finishes with a Thunder Punch. He's down Honchkrow, and he kills Extinguish with a Psychic. I send in Liquid. He goes for Night Slash. I go for Ice Punch. He then swaps to Weavile. I take the Ice Punch. Next turn, he goes for Fake Out to flinch Liquid. Then he goes for Ice Punch, doing good damage, and Liquid fucking eviscerates that thing with a Hammer Arm. Then out comes Honchkrow again. A quick claw pops, and Ice Punch finishes it off. Congratulations, Cyrus. You kind of played yourself in the end there. And now that Cyrus is once and for all defeated for this video, it's time for the 8th gym leader, and then the Elite Four, and then I'm beating your ass, Cynthia. Well, like I said, we need to beat Volkner's ass here first, and Extinguish one-shots all Pokemon with Earthquake besides Luxray for some reason. Yeah, I don't know why. Luxray is weirdly bulky. It took 2 Earthquakes for some reason, but you know what? Whatever. Easy win. Let's be real. Who didn't see this coming? But I bet y'all didn't see this coming. I gotta be honest here. This is where the video originally was going to end because we need Waterfall to progress, and I can't find the non-water type Pokemon like I get to learn Waterfall. But after a couple hours of digging, I found the answer. First, I catch a Marill. Then, I get the Sea Incense, and then I breed that Marill with the Roselia of all Pokemon for some reason. Then I hatch an Azurill. Azurill is just normal type in this game. I can teach that Surf and Waterfall. So Victory Road, I'll be using an Azurill to get through it. And yes, this was all necessary. This is the only Pokemon I can legitimately do this with. The other Pokemon being Arceus. So besides God, the only thing keeping this challenge possible is this little derp. And with all that bullshit out of the way, it's time for the final Barry fight. Advil sweeps half his team with Ice Beams and Psychic, and the other half falls to Choice Specs boosted Aura Spheres from Bacon. Yeah, sorry, Barry, you just weren't that much of a challenge this run. And now it's time to grind for the Elite Four. Oh boy.
The next day.
And now we're facing the Elite Four. First up is Aaron, the Bug Boy, and a Clusupo and Choice Specs Fire Blast from Bacon. Let's be real, that ain't surprising. Aaron's never threatened any run ever. But now that he's dealt with, on to the next member. And the next member is Bertha, and just like Aaron before her, she was a complete sweep, except I used Dole this time. 1 Swords Dance and a Leaf Break for all of her Pokemon. Besides Gliscor, I used Ice Punch for him, and I one-shot all of them thanks to boost from Swords Dance. So yeah, 2 for 2 for sweeps right now. Now on to the next member. And the sweep continues against Elite 4 against Clint, ironically using Extinguish to extinguish the other fire types with Earthquake. I one-shot all of his Pokemon. Now on to the final member. And last up is Lucian, and the sweep surprisingly continues. Duel up 2 Swords Dance, and I Night Shots to his entire team, except this one's different. He almost took out Duel. Almost. Anyway, on to the champion fight. Here we are, the champion fight against Cynthia. First up is her Spirit Channel with Bacon, 2 Shadow Balls doing it, and she smooths the Dark Pulse. Up next is her own Togekiss. I swap to Advil on a Shockwave after 2 Ice Beams, Togekiss goes down, but Advil's at red health. She says that's her Rose Raid. I go for Ice Beam, barely misses a knockout, and Advil falls to an extra sensory. I then send an Extinguish, she heals, and I one-shot with an Aerial Ace. Next up is her Milotic. I swap to Nolik as she lands a crit Surf, because of course she does. She goes for another Surf, leaving Nolik at red health. I deliver half Power Whip. She then swaps to Lucario to go for another Power Whip. Then gets for Extreme Speed, down goes Nolik. I send Extinguish back in, and I kill Lucario with an Earthquake. Out comes my load again, but it's not low enough health that Thunder Punch will finish it off. And last up is her Ace Garchomp. I go for Grass so I get some damage on the board. Extinguish dies 5 times over doing an Earthquake from a Garchomp. Yeah, very overkill. Speaking of overkill, I send in Liquid and Quick Claw pops, I get a crit with Ice Punch, and I one-shot it. And just like that, we are now the champions. And that was Pokemon Platinum, but I can't use any stab moves. I'm honestly surprised with how easy that Elite 4 and Champion fights were. I thought it was going to be way harder. Also, I did not mean to make it almost nearly Gen 4 team. That was not intentional. Anyway, hope you all enjoy. Like, comment, subscribe, future all little bullshit, and I'll see y'all later. Peace, bitches!